Hey guys, welcome back to Bryan's Mysteries and Adventures on Trail, and today we are going to be talking about the very recent disappearance of Josh Hall, who went missing on the Hessie Trailhead near Nederland at 9:30 a.m. on February 3rd of 2021 with his dog Happy. The Hessie Trailhead is in the Boulder, Colorado area. It's about 40 minutes outside of the city of Boulder, and Josh parked his car at the Hessie Trailhead to begin his hike to Devil's Thumb Lake between 10:30 a.m. and 10:45 a.m. that morning. Josh's intention was to leave the trailhead roughly around 3:30 to 4 p.m. because he had to get back for an online class which was starting at 5 p.m. in the town of Arvada. And so his parents knew right away that something was wrong and were able to get authorities dispatched that very evening. The sheriff's office was able to get a cell phone ping that put his phone near the Devil's Thumb Trailhead Lake cutoff about noon on February 3rd of 2021. The police were also aware that a significant winter storm at the nearby Arvada ski resort, which was reported between 12:30 p.m. and 1 p.m., reported whiteout conditions and multiple inches of snow in a matter of minutes. Being an experienced hiker, they put his pace at between 3 and 3.5 miles an hour, and Josh is believed to have ended up somewhere near the Devil's Thumb Lake or further east at the Continental Divide, and that's when they feel like the weather arrived 6 miles from the trailhead. One thing that makes this case a little unique is that the Boulder County Sheriff's Office and the Rocky Mountain Rescue Group they arrived at the Hessie Trailhead that night, Wednesday night, to begin their search, roughly almost 4 hours after Josh went missing. This is very unusual. I mean, it's great that they were able to get there that soon, but generally speaking, search efforts aren't launched until maybe a day later or 12 hours later. So it was great that they were able to get an early jump on this search. And they searched Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, February 4th through the 6th. And unfortunately, even with the rescuers being able to get out there that early and searching very soon and days after, because of heavy weather that moved into the area, they were unable to find anything. Unfortunately, the weather also made it impossible for aerial searches or anything like drones, and it also continued to hinder the ground search efforts. It prevented search and rescue for being able to reach the upper areas of the Devil's Thumb Lake, and just because of the crazy avalanche risk and the high wind conditions that they were facing. So unfortunately, the search was suspended the Saturday evening after he went missing due to avalanche warning, high winds, low visibility, and snow coverage. And it wasn't until Thursday, February 11th, that a new lead was found, and this happened about 7 to 9 miles away from the Hessie Trailhead. Passerby on Peak to Peak Highway south of Ward found Happy and the dog. And the bizarre thing about this is the Rocky Mountains. It's very harsh conditions. When they found the dog Happy, he had lost 15 or 20 pounds, but he wasn't frostbitten. And it almost appeared that he had somehow found shelter somewhere. And the family was just amazed that this dog had been able to survive somehow in the rugged wilderness of the Rocky Mountains, because he's a house pet. He's never been in this type of situation before. And even though animals are very resilient, it was amazing that aside for a few small little blemishes, like little scratches on his face, he didn't have any injuries, and he wasn't frostbitten. He was very tired. Apparently he slept for 2 days and was hungry, which is to be expected. But where was Josh? How had they gotten separated? Had the dog tried to leave and find help? Had Josh been injured? Had maybe the dog stayed with Josh until he succumbed to his injuries? I mean, there's so many possibilities. And they didn't find the leash. He was usually being harried with a black leash, but they didn't find that. He just was on the side of the road there. Over the course of the next few days, dozens of searchers spent a total of 650 hours tracing his footsteps. But they gave up after more snowstorms rolled in, and more storms just presented more danger to the search efforts. And this trail is a fairly easy rated trail, mild, I guess. It's a beautiful area. He was thought to have been headed to the Devil's Thumb Lake Trail, and I'm going to put a picture of the map. And the space between where his dog was found. If you look on this map, you can see the Hessie Trailhead off to the left, and then Nederland over on the right with the red dot is where his dog was found. So it's very bizarre that this dog somehow managed to get so far away from where they originally started. Now, it's possible that Josh and the dog had made some effort to head back that way, but you know, there's been no other sign of Josh or any of his clothing, anything, the dog's leash, nothing else has been found. And the other bizarre thing about this is there is no direct route between where they were last thought to have been in the cell phone ping and where the dog was found. So, I mean, did someone pick the dog up? I mean, did somebody pick both of them up? It's just, you know, a wonder. Search crews were able to narrow down the highest probability area where they believe Josh could be. A search team was able to access the east end of Devil's Thumb Lake, but unfortunately they were not able to conduct a full search due to the conditions of wind, the deep snow. Apparently it was chest deep snow at the time, and they were not able to conduct, you know, large ground searches due to the snow. I mean, I can't imagine, you know, trying to shuffle through waist deep snow. And I didn't believe it until I saw some of the pictures, but this really would hinder search efforts and anybody's ability to make any ground, because it would just be so exhausting. Josh is considered to be an experienced hiker. He's 27 years old. He's 6'4" and 200 pounds. So this is not a guy that you'd miss. And unfortunately, even after they found his dog, they have not found Josh. Josh is thought to be wearing a soft shell gray-brown jacket or dark hard shell jacket, a gray-black backpack, and a long black leash for Happy. And he was thought to be wearing a camouflage hat. And, you know, this is just one of those things where it's like, okay, well, how did Happy and Josh get separated? You know, is it one of those things where Josh had an accident and the dog was going to try and find help? And actually, this is very common when someone goes missing with a dog. The dog will often try and alert other people to the owner's presence, and sometimes it works. The dog will be able to lead people back to the owner. And it's often, the majority of the cases when a man or woman goes missing with a dog, the dog is later found, and sometimes days later. And it's, in this situation, it's just very curious because Happy was in particular good shape, as you know, no frostbite. Obviously he had lost some weight, things to be expected for being lost in like a snowstorm, but how come he wasn't showing any signs of, you know, being in the elements? So of course this raised the family's hopes of then finding Josh, but unfortunately after more searches and efforts, the snow and other factors, they just haven't found a thing. And of course the family is urging anybody that's going out to be on the Hessie Trail to be aware of this, to keep an eye out for any of the things that he might have had, the jacket, the black leash, anything that might help, because a lot of people will be getting out on trail soon. If you have any information regarding this case, tips, or any other things that you might find while you're out on trail, please contact the Boulder County Dispatch at 303-441-4444. If you are out on the trail and you come across something that you think is important, just note the location, don't touch it, take pictures, and then contact the authorities. And as always, I will have all this information in the description, along with links and other information that you can do further reading if you choose. And the more eyes we have looking into these things, the more chances we have of helping some of these families find closure. The police were able to find his car. It was parked at the Hessie Trailhead. But other than that, aside finding the dog, there's been no other clues or leads in this case. So please ask everybody, if you are going to comment, please be respectful in the comments as always. Remember, these families are going through real crises and they need our help, love, and support. And I just wanted to dedicate this video to Josh Hall and his family and friends, and just hoping that you will find closure sometime soon in one way or another. And of course, if anyone has any feedback or comments for me, because ultimately one of my main goals of this channel is to get more involved in these searches and eventually start a nonprofit to help both the families and the search efforts, because private search efforts can be extremely expensive. upwards of $10,000 a day, depending on if you're doing aerial searches, drone searches. So in any event, please leave me a message in the comments if you have any feedback, or if you have a case that you want me to cover. I'll be happy to look into it and cover that case. My thoughts and prayers go out to the Hall family, his friends and family, and just pray that you can find closure in one way or another sometime soon. Thank you everybody for watching. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time.